What's up, Blue Chips? 2 trades today, 2 losers. Seems to be a theme lately. One on Twitter, one on GLUU. So let's get to it. All right, traders. So real quick, we're not going to be doing the live trades again today because they were quite boring. But instead, I'm going to try to explain to you what it is that I'm looking for with these back-end type plays. So on Twitter, normally what you would see me do is look to get on the front end looking for a pullback. Well, what I am now trying to do is let it make its top and look to play the back end looking for the reversal. That's it in a nutshell. But as you can see here on Twitter, it did not work. And we actually jumped back in Twitter. This is a demo account trade. I was testing out my new hotkeys that I had made, so don't worry about that. But GLUU was the other one. We did the same exact thing. We realized we went a little bit too small because, again, we didn't have our hotkey set up yet. And so as it started to pop, we were like, okay, this might be sloppy seconds. We'll go ahead and just add a little bit to it, giving us a little bit more size. And it didn't work. So what you typically would have saw is, I would have started over here on the front side of the move. Most likely looking somewhere on this candle is probably when we would have got in. So I like to think we actually ended up with a better first entry anyway. And 750 was that nice resistance that it had. And unfortunately, it decided it didn't want to work. So just some craziness going on lately with these types of plays. But if we bring up, I'm pulling up my TraderSync here. I didn't enter my trades from today yet, but let's, I don't even know if this is a good chart, but we'll find out. So Vivis, okay, so it'll work. I'll zoom in on this via the edit, but right here, as it made a high, you can see this little pivot point. So the idea of my strat is to look to enter when it crosses that pivot point again after it has set its high. So we would look to jump in right under this 380 area, and we'd be looking to get 2-to-1 risking off high of day. So if we're in at, say, 375, we're risking 25 cents, it looks like, to 4. We would need 50 cents, which it looks like 75. It came really close to that. Or actually, no, it didn't. 340. Right? No, it did not come close. We would have needed down here in the 320s. But as you can see, it never went up and stopped as high a day. So around 12 o'clock, when it was right here, we would have been looking to take our profits because that's going to be part of it as well. It's just looking to, jump out of trades by 12 o'clock because I don't feel like sitting around all day doing with it. So just real quick to give you another example, let's take a look at BTU. I remember looking at this one last night, and we took 3 losses on this thing. And if we were following the new strategy, this thing would have never given us an entry. So on the way up, you'll see right here, this is the pivot point at 825 area that we would have been looking for. It never got below it. Comes up, sets a new high. Here's a new pivot point right here at around $9. It never comes back down through it. It even sets another pivot point right here at this actually looks like closer to 930. Comes back up, and then it comes down. So we could have had an entry there, and we never would have got stopped out, and we never really would have got a big gain. But it looks like it would have been a small winner. But as you can see, the only entry it gave us was all the way up here. So all of the trades that we took wouldn't have even happened. So hopefully you are catching on to what I am putting out here. We'll take a look at one more. Here on LTHM, it was kind of the same thing. Came up, put a pivot point in here. We would have been looking to get under this pivot point. It does not get under. Comes up, has a pivot point here. This one actually looks like we would have got triggered by like a penny, and then it would have went up and stopped us out. And then it never really gives us another solid entry. All right, so that was a couple examples there of what we're looking for with the new strategy. It's kind of simple. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the idea is to stop getting stopped out so quickly on the front side. Obviously, it wasn't really working too well with maxing ourselves out with only 2 entries. I'm starting to think, looking back, that it just so happened that a lot of our trades were only 1 to 2 entries. But we were back then being a lot more picky about our entries. So we started to loosen ourselves up a little bit as far as our entries, and we were now limiting ourselves to only 2 entries. So it was kind of contradicting itself a little bit, and it wasn't really meshing well together. So I started to think how I could make the set risk strategy work using the same type of strategy. So I came up with trying to find out a way to get in on the back end. And this seems like a good thing to try and do for a little while and see if it works. So like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Always appreciate your support. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning for the live stream. Peace.